Okay, so we're talking about something that's a little strange. It's why being too close to your real estate agent may be a problem. So here's something that we see all the time. Someone tells me, I want full retail for the house, which is fine, and my cousin is the realtor. And the cousin will list the property, and then nothing will happen. Or my friend is a realtor, or my mother's a realtor. And what we're seeing very often is we'll talk to these people and we'll say, listen, there's nothing we can do. Your best bet is to list it. And they say, okay, I have somebody to list it with. And then 6 months later, they call us back and they start asking us questions. They go, how much should most people be charging? We had this recently with some friends, and they got ripped off. They were paying too much, and the way it was structured, the standard listen, standard realtor fees are between 4 and 6%, but but half of that, whatever fee you're paying to the listing agent, half of that fee should be paid to a buyer's agent. So a buyer's agent who's representing a buyer is going to bring their client to you, and they're expecting half that fee. It says how much they're getting, but if the realtor is, let's say, charging 6% and only paying the buyer's agent 2, or only paying the buyer's agent 1.5, a lot of buyer's agents don't like that. So you have to be careful if you're very close to the realtor, and you have to think about whether your relationship with the realtor is going to be a problem. And I see it all the time that people that are close to their realtor because they're related or they're friends, it ends up being a problem because they can't then go to their friend or their relative and say, why is nothing happening here? Why haven't you been doing open houses? Why aren't you pushing this? Why haven't you discussed dropping the price if nobody's made an offer? All the time. There's a lot of different methods that we use to get something moving. And we know this because we sell our own properties that we need to buy because we're paying interest on them. Usually we have a loan on them. So we understand what selling a property quick takes, what's involved, a lot of little tricks that we use. And if you have a realtor who is a relative of yours or a friend, it's not an easy conversation to have to say, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? And why hasn't anything happened? And it's something to think about. I'm not saying you shouldn't use a realtor who's close to you. I'm saying that you need to have a conversation beforehand, and you should go for a very short time. Do a 3-month engagement with them, a 3-month listing. Because if you're not happy and 3 months ends, and you should tell them, I may use a different realtor, right? If you really need to sell, your realtor should be paying for Facebook ads. Okay, if the realtor took pictures and they stink, the realtor should be paying for professional photography. If nothing's happening, if you're getting showings but not offers, you should be dropping the price. And there are a lot of tips and tricks that we use to get things sold that most people who have a client who they are related to or friends with are not going to do because they feel like that person is going to be loyal to them. And they feel like, well, I'm just going to, let's be honest, 99% of all realtors on 99% of their listings do nothing except list it on MLS and maybe have some open houses. That's it. And in today's world with technology, there's a lot more that can be done. Facebook ads is a huge, simple, cheap way to drive traffic to a property. Price structuring, dropping the price small amounts, even every day, so that it gets in front of other agents. Offering agents specific compensation that they will not have to share with their broker is another method. There are a lot of tips and tricks that we use. But if you're really close to the realtor, it's a difficult conversation to have. And most of the time, they lock you in for a year because you trust them. And it ends up being a mess. And people come back to us all the time. How do I get out of this? What do I say to them? It's a problem. I know they're not doing anything. Nothing's happening. I feel like nothing's being done. What do I do? We get these calls all the time. So be careful if your realtor is very close to you. You need to really be wary and make sure if you sign anything with them, it's for a shorter period of time rather than a longer period of time. 3 months is fair, right? 3 months is very fair. If you don't have offers in 3 months, something else should be done, and they should be okay with that. Not that you close in 3 months, but you should have some offers or accepted an offer by then.